Hello, you scurvy dogs. This be Jacob Call, your captain on this second voyage into English test in grammar. I tried to finish this at port last night, but I failed, and now I'm doing it this morning. And it's Talk Like a Pirate Day, which kind of makes it too bad, because I would really want to talk like a pirate in all these videos. Just sort of think about what I'm trying to say, and teach English grammar when I be talking like this there, don't you know? Don't you know is the wrong thing to say. Anyway, English is very simple. Remember, you have been listening to the English language all your life, or almost all of your life. Alright, you know how things are supposed to sound. Yes, there are a couple tricky homophones and whatnot, but for the most part, go with what sounds best, okay? Make predictions. With some of my students who are shooting for the 30s and whatever, I will cover, when they practice, the answer side. So they have to guess what is right without even seeing any options. And they do great, right? It works good on usage mechanics, not so much on rhetoric, but it does work. Remember that no change is okay to put. You don't want to do it too much, but you don't want to do it too little. I was telling a student just yesterday, you shouldn't be afraid if you've had 3 no changes in a row. The longest I've seen of a single run on the test is 8 in a row. It was HC, 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 yeah. Kind of crazy. But it happens, and don't break a chain just because you're afraid of all these answers in the way. Next, and crazy important, shorter is better. If you pick the shortest and the simplest of the options, you will be right at least half the time. Which means that even if you do that on the whole test, you'll get about a 20, 19, 20. I would suggest doing that, but you can do it. So if there's more than one choice that's grammatically correct, pick the shortest one. Alright, along with this, avoid redundancies, and also avoid repetition, and don't repeat yourself. See what I did there? Yes, stick to it. Along with that, commas. Commas are crazy important. They are a pause in the sentence. They are not a break. There's 6 different uses of commas. You don't really need them, separating independent clauses with conjunction, lists, introductory phrases, dependent clauses, coordinated adjectives, non-essential clauses, parenthetical expressions, appositives, all that stuff. That was more than 6. I'm not paying attention. Just remember, if you're at a spot in the sentence, if you're reading out loud, that you would put in a pause, that's where a comma goes. If you read the choices and you put pause where the commas are and they don't sound right, you don't need commas. It's not too often you'll need to add commas in to the passages. Okay? Okay. Commas, I think that will do you. Verbs, watch out for tense, and watch out for subject-verb agreement. Remember, if the subject has an S, the verb has no S, and vice versa. Right? Dog runs. Dogs run. Okay? With that, though, remember that they're tricky, and they'll throw in prepositional phrases, and they might throw in a positive, and they might throw in other clauses, or, dashes, and things like that, to mess with your mind. Make sure you know what the thing or things are that the verb is describing. Almost always they'll give you a singular and make you think it's a plural. Okay? And that's also where the Sesame Street principle comes into play. One of these things is not like the other. If 3 of them are similar and one of them's different, guess which one's probably the right answer. I'll give you a hint. It's the one of my fingers moving. Sometimes 3 will be past tense, 1 will be present. Sometimes 3 will be plural, 1 will be singular. Whatever. Watch for it. And with tense, make sure you read the whole sentence to make sure you're doing the right tense. If it says tomorrow, it's going to be a future tense. If it says yesterday, it's going to be a past tense. If it says while doing, when she did, right? Follow that. And then we get into my favorite following commas and verbs, apostrophes. They're wonderful! Kind of. Apostrophes are those little thingies, and an apostrophe goes on a singular noun, apostrophe S. It's backwards. Yes. Apostrophe S. Remember that. You won't be asked any questions about like Charles's. They won't do that to you. Don't worry. But it's apostrophe S with a singular and S apostrophe with a plural. They also have apostrophes for contraction. Make sure that you know whether it's possessive, i.e. it belongs to somebody, or it's contractive, i.e. John is going to the store. John's going to the store could be either way. But with pronouns, there's only ever apostrophes with contractions. His, hers, yours, theirs, its, whose, ours. I think there's another one, but I cannot remember it right now. No apostrophes, right? Remember that its and whose, when they're possessive, its is just ITS, whose is HOWSE. So make sure you've got your pronouns too. Singular pronouns, it, his, hers. Plural ones, ours, our, they, them. Yes? Yes. Subject and object pronouns, you don't need to remember that. Except for, you use who, WHO, when you would use he, she, or they. You use whom, WHOM, when you would use him, her, and them. Ends in vowel, ends in vowel. Ends in consonant. Yes, ends in vowel, ends in vowel, ends in consonant, ends in consonant. Remember, him, them, whom. Okay? Okay. Watch as well for misplaced modifiers. That's where a descriptor or a prepositional phrase isn't next to the passage that it's asking about. There's several great ones. I can't think of any good examples right now. Sorry. Good one about like a crane toppled over above a child. Could be the crane above the child toppled over. The crane, yeah, that wasn't a good one. I can't even make these up because they normally sound so bad. Stick with what sounds best. And if omit is an option, try it with the omitted thing first. It says underline, omit this passage and end with a period. Try that first. It's not always right, but when it is, save you some time. So with rhetoric, remember to read in front of and behind the passages. That's important. Yeah? Yeah. And remember to read in the question to make sure you know what you're looking for. So for instance, I don't know if you can read this. For the sake of the logic and coherence of the paragraph, which one will most strongly suggest, which provides the best evidence? Watch for those kind of things. They are important. And most important, remember again, I'm going to say this at the end of each video, you can do it. All right, you've been doing it in sessions. You can continue to do it. Don't stress about getting done. Stress about getting them right. Okay?